happened, unfortunately, we had our battery go flat, so I couldn't stop and I had to keep on going. He may exhibit it again. I'll walk him down here a little bit. We didn't have any serious fights or arguments. There was a little bit of refusal, but the main thing with doing these sorts of things with horses, it doesn't matter where the head is in these early days, as long as it's looking in. The horse can be over here wanting to come in, can be over there wanting to come in. I don't care. And what we've achieved with this little bloke, I just had him on the float, and what we've achieved with him is putting him on the float. He would stand there flat-footed and wouldn't go on. But again, please observe the rope head collar. Observe the fact that I've got a 3 metre lead, and observe the fact that I haven't got a lot of pressure on him. In fact, none. I don't want to have pressure on his head. The moment I start to pull his head goes up and he can't see. This stock whip merely gives me an extension to my arm. If I wanted to, I could do that with him, but it doesn't have the effect. It's a hot day here today at Camden, and he's hot. He's been placed under stress. Good boy. The end result of what I want to do with them, and here's again, this horse is coming into the float. Old Jim Wilton, who was one of my teachers, and the greatest master horseman this country's ever produced, Jimmy Wilton would say you want the horse, when he'd see people having trouble putting a horse on the float, he would say, why don't you teach your horse to lead? And they would say, he will lead, Mr. Wilton. And old Jim would say, well, lead him on the float. So it's critical that you, in my opinion, you teach your horse, good boy, you teach your horses to lead in this fashion. And I've only been playing about with this little bloke for a while, and he straight out refused the other day. He wouldn't go on the float. Now I'm going to ask him to go off a bit. I'm going to ask him to go off. What the other subliminal message is, out here is not a good place to be. In there is a good place to be. Out here, I can tickle him with the whip and sting him. I haven't got no marks on him. I certainly would sting him with it, and ask him to come forward. Out here is not a good place to be. And the message is, go on the float, and that's a wonderful place to be. So I'm going to see if he'll just come on with a loose rope. Come here, sweetheart. I'll try and guide his head a little bit. Now, I don't care if he's like this. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. Now, I haven't got any pressure on his head. I might ask him to come a little bit from the whip. I don't care that he's there. Next time we'll put him off in a second. We'll put him off in a second, and on top of this I've got a little tiny bit of hay in here. Good lad. I've got a little tiny bit of hay in here. Yeah. Stand near his shoulder now and ask him to go back steadily, and what I'll do, I'll just take him away a little bit. I'll have the whip trailing behind him. I'll just give him a little bit of a reminder. I'll bring him over here, and bear in mind, look, he's going to knock me over to get in the float. Bear in mind, yes, have a little smell. Ask him to go forward. Shake your bum. Come on, quick. Splash down there on that. Come on, lad, come on. So it sort of doesn't worry me. I mean, I can push him over with the centre bar. I'll put him on once more, and I'll give him a couple of days off. I've got to come up to Camden from the coast on Monday. Good boy. I'll just put him on once and off once more. We'll get. and he's not. I haven't terrified him with the whip. Oh, good boy. I haven't terrified him with the whip or hurt him with it. If I'd hurt him with it, he would be really worried and upset. So we've had to go to another camera now to take him. All I did with him was make him come to me in the yard a little bit. I've asked him to lower his head in the yard a little bit so that I can put pressure on his head. And I broke him into the whip just quickly in the yard. Here is a young horse, first time that he's been floated. Come on, watch me feet, watch me feet. Go on, go on. Get up. Come on, quick. Just in a different position now. Bend his shoulder. Pull back. Pull back. Good boy. Back steady. Lovely boy. Well done. I'm just going to take him over here a little bit. Come on, sweet. Good boy. Well done. I haven't been cruel to him. Yeah, I haven't been cruel to him, and it's pointless being cruel to them. They don't understand it. One of the things that you've got to remember with a horse is you've got a 3-second window. A 3-second window to punish them for an infraction. It's no good of punishing him an hour and a half later by racing down there with a couple of pieces of twisted 8-gauge wire or stock whip with a piece of fuse wire in the end of it. It's pointless doing that. They don't understand. Worst thing I can say to him. Now what I've got to do now is break it into this. Oh mate. So because my friend, the guy that owns this horse, isn't proficient in the use of the stock whip, he has a lunging whip. So, and we'll use this in the same way. Now I'll get my friend to use the same method. John, you're going to have to beat his shoulder, and you're going to have to be facing him when you lead him, and you've got to have this in a defensive position, which is there, and not a defensive position, which is there. So I'll stay here with you. You hold this and just watch where you're going. Hold that in your left hand. Hold that in your right hand, but be not defensive and be defensive. Hold it like that. But just back in. No, back in. Ask him to come up. Not too much of that. Get up in front of him. Don't bother clicking him, you don't know what that means. Yeah, that's right, face him. Don't hold his head, let him come back. Ask him to come up. Walk him. Now, you're going to have to do it the way I did it. You're going to have to, when you hold that whip, you're going to have to hold it with your thumb up so that you can do that, and you're going to have to walk him in. Don't give yourself a little bit more room in his face and don't pull in his head. So where you got that on the ground, do that up, where it's hanging on the ground. No, the end of the lead. So ask him to back off. Now just ask him to back off and say, whoop back and get by his shoulder. Don't bother putting that there. Get it out of the way.
Don't want it?
No, I don't want it. Get it out. No, I want you to have it, but that's defensive. Get it behind you. Whoop back. Get by his shoulder. Or come to me more. I want you to be there, listen. Don't bother hitting me with your elbow. I want you to be there. Don't bother hitting me with your elbow. That's the way. And just take him for a walk around there. Straighten him up the right way. Face him up. That's the way. Now bring him back to the back of the float. Just bring him back to the back of the float. That's the way. Now stand in the float. You stand in the float.
Good boy.
Now just
Tickle him.
touch him on the rump with it gently.
Good boy.
That's enough. Don't keep on hitting.
Good boy.
Now put it away now, out of the way, and make it not defensive. That's the way. Now you can drop it on the floor of the float. Now when you come out this time, and I'd leave him there for a second, I want you more back towards where the girth would be if he was coming out, and ask him to back steady. All these little things that I'm asking John to do is what I have done, so that it doesn't confuse the horse. The only thing different, it's like driving a car. Providing you drive it the same way all the time, it'll go. It's just a different thing here with a different operator. Good boy. He's a good boy.
Good boy. Well done. Well done.
Rub him.
Good boy. Well done. Well done.
Good man. Now I'm going to see if you'll go on without anything. Good lad. So I use a little bit. You're still inclined to hold him there. I would rather you sort of didn't. A bit closer. But So the worst thing that he's realised that's going to happen to him is that I'm going to say, and these horses have been around for 50 million years. It's not that they were here last weekend. People haven't started to do this a fortnight ago. They will read you like you read a book, and they comprehend and understand your body movements and your strengths and weaknesses. This little bloke didn't know, and he now knows. And I'll put him on again on Monday. There's something nice in here for him to eat. There's something nice in there for him to eat, and it becomes a pleasant treat for him. So that's basically the way that I would load a horse. And as I say, the only, and this horse had never been on the float and he'd refused. The only thing that I do with them is do a little bit of work in the yard just for a couple of minutes, break them into the whip. I ask them to lower their head for me, and I make them come with me. I don't mind that he doesn't want to go on here because he doesn't want to get his brains dashed out on the roof, which is reasonable, neither would I. Let me say this to you. The way that an analogy that I could draw from this, if I was on one side of a 7 or 8 metre chasm, and I had a rope round me, and it was only a very small plank that I had to walk, and there's a bloke pulling on that rope, making me cross this, and it's full of crocodiles and tigers and lions, and 8 fellas raced in and started to hammer me with lumps of poly pipe and all that sort of thing. My first reaction is to get out of it, not to go across that bridge, but to get away out of it, run away and hunt. And this is exactly what he does. If you all want to learn about horses and the way to handle them, understand clearly that they are the same as you and I. Interpret the way that you would do it, and then apply that to the horse. So that's all I've got to show you. I've had a ball, and I hope you have too. Thanks for watching.